19th, 2023. Highgate Selectboard, the first order of business is the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, any public comment?
Richard, just to let you know, I got a call from Grand Avenue Enterprise a couple days ago. They are turning by my driveway this year. We haven't had a bus down there for about 8 to 10 years. I just want you guys to be aware. The bus is going down at 7 o'clock in the morning, picking up kids at Highway Paradise and turning around in my driveway this year. So I just want you guys to be aware of it.
Right in your driveway?
By the side of my driveway, they back up and then go back into it and then face out.
Okay.
But I haven't had a bus down there for probably 8, 10 years, but I just want you guys to be aware of it so you don't get a phone call.
Okay.
That's it. I'm very quiet tonight.
He called me before he called you.
What?
He called me before he called you.
Okay, well, I didn't know that because I haven't seen you, Nick, but I just wanted to make sure you guys knew about it, that's all.
Okay. Any more public comment? Okay, moving right along. Fire Commissioner update. Liza Kaminsky.
All right, so an update on our radio system that is set to be complete soon. Hopefully, it's going to be completed and operational by Halloween. We were waiting on the duplexer, which was back ordered. It finally is coming in, and for those that don't know, this is going to improve our radio to radio communication. So that will be extremely helpful. As far as training, we meet every Monday night, starting at 7. Every Monday night we have a training, and we've done more trainings this year on different aspects of our roles than we have in years in past years. And we definitely are having, this year we have record attendance. We have never seen this. I've been on the department for 8 years. We have never seen the attendance we're having at trainings and coming every Monday night. So we are in a really good place with that. We currently have 4 of our new members who are attending Firefighter 1, which is happening in Sheldon. We are going to be doing our annual recruitment campaign that went well last year. We do it for maybe like 3 weeks in December. And if we have any Highgate residents that are listening or are here who are interested in volunteering on the department, you can send us an email, connect with us on Facebook, and we will make sure that we get you hooked up with an application and provide you with all the information that you need. And just so folks know that all new members go through 6 months of like a probationary training, and there's a whole list of trainings that need to be checked off in order for them to come off that 6-month initial probation. At that point, if it's successfully completed, they come to the members, and the membership will vote on whether or not to allow them on the department based upon the facts and everything given and our interactions. So some updates on our community events. We just finished up Fire Prevention Week with Highgate Elementary School students. That is like, Christmas for me. It's like the highlight of our year. And we visited all students from like the preschool to 3s and 4-year-olds all the way up to grade 6. Our lessons, the curriculum we use inside the classroom builds their knowledge and skills, which with age appropriate. So like in 1st grade, we are just learning the basics of fire safety. 2nd grade, we start talking about fire escape planning, making sure we have our meeting place. as they go up, they learn about smoke alarms, so everything grows as they grow. And sixth grade kind of is just everything coming together to highlight why all the things we taught them from preschool up to grade 5 are so crucial. Because sixth grade is the last touch point we have with them before they leave and head off to MBU. So we do 30 minutes inside, a 30-minute classroom lesson, and then all of the kiddos get to go outside and they do the truck tour, and then they get to use the hoses, which is really great. And this year we had more members sign up to assist us than we've ever had, which is wonderful because it takes a lot of hands to make this happen for the kids there. And so, I'm just very thankful for those that were able to take the time off from work to assist us. Our walk to school, so we've been helping with walk to school since it began an eternity ago, probably only like 4 or 5 years ago. We've been 4 years. We've been covering the Mill Hill and the Lambkin Street crossing, and the PD it originally was the sheriff, and then it was city PD would cover 78. And those were just occasional, like walk to school days whenever they could get them scheduled. This year we are doing them monthly, so it's the second Tuesday of every month. I just want to share with the board that the police have not showed up for the September or the October walk to school date. So we had to quickly shift gears. Thankfully, October, we were a little bit ready that they may not show up. But the school had no idea that they were not coming, which is a pretty crucial piece. So Route 78 is a very high-speed area. We have traffic coming from around the corner here. We have traffic coming from, all the touch points around the gas station. And so we really want to make sure that that is manned. So we're going to be shifting our strategies. And I talked to Sharon, I talked to the school, and I talked to Amy Brewer from the hospital, and just let her know that, let them all know that what we're going to be doing is I'm going to pull the utility out of service from 7:30 to 8 on walk to school days. I'm going to use that to cover 78 so that we have the lights for those coming from like McEwen side or Gore Road. And then, we'll cover 78 and Lambkin. They are able to cross Mill Hill by themselves. It's not a high traffic, high speed area, and all of the groups that come through have an adult in front and behind. So the school was in agreement that that was a good plan. But just so everybody knows, the PD has not been notifying anybody that they're not coming. If they show up for future walk to school days, that would be great, but the plan going forward is we'll all be pulling the utility out of service, covering that. I am wondering, and this would be a Wendy question, if we can get the town sign for folks coming this way, for anybody who is paying attention and looking at it, if we can get that to stop from 7:30 to 8 with maybe like a slow down, walk to school day, children ahead, some sort of message that is going to grab their attention. So then we have, that extra level of protection for
Yes,
the kiddos.
just message me because I can change it from home.
Okay.
Yep.
But yeah, so if we could just do that on walk to school days, and I always know the night before if it's going to be canceled, so I can connect with you. Let's see, our upcoming events that are on our calendar is, of course, we have our trunk or treat at the arena on Halloween. And we have received some exciting news that Santa is coming to the fire station in December. He has cleared his schedule to be there on December 3rd. So from December 3rd from 10 to 1, Santa and Mrs. Claus will be at the station, and Elizabeth Sweet is gonna be back again with her team of horses, which is always a treat. And just, we, as of this, when I did the tally, it was Monday night, so as of Monday night, we've had 82 calls that we've responded to. And I shared a breakdown of those calls with everyone, and I think Sharon had printed it out as well. Just like the responses that we have been going on. I will say, we do a lot of educating on Facebook, but it is the time of year when we want to just remind folks about what can be burned and what can't be burned. In the state of Vermont, only clean wood is able to be burned, nothing that is painted, pressure treated, no tires, no chemicals, nothing like that. So just a reminder that, and even if you have a burn permit from the fire warden, if we are called, we will have to put it out because your legal burn has become a nuisance burn to, one of your neighbors or somebody who has gone by has spotted it and called it in, and at that point, we probably wouldn't put it out if it wasn't really bothering anybody, but just be considerate of your neighbors, because we don't know what health issues they have, and respiratory illnesses and smoke can really trigger that. So we are just doing what we are called to do, which is to help our community. And also, we've had 2 motor vehicle accidents in the past several months where we have first responders who are on the road directing traffic. You're volunteering our time. We leave our jobs or whatever we're doing to come and help. We understand it's inconvenient to be stuck in traffic, but we don't need to be yelled at or have people swearing at us. Or taking it upon yourself to drive through an accident scene. That happened recently. We had 2 cars drive through an accident scene. So even if you are responding because you have a loved one who has been in that accident, we understand you're worked up and you want to get to them, but we also need to be safe, and we need to keep the people who are in that scene and on that scene safe. So just please have some kindness, and when you do see those flashing lights, pay attention. Don't actually try to speed up to get through that accident scene. The last thing I have is just a question for the board about usually for I think it's the past 3 or 4 years, the fire department has done the decorating, the hope sign and the trees in the town, in the center park. And we didn't know if anyone else wanted to take that over this year because we are willing to share. Sharing is caring. If no one does, we can continue it, but
I would say hit up the librarian
okay.
and the trustees, and I'm sure they'd be willing to help.
Help or take over.
Or take over,
Okay.
whichever you prefer.
Okay. I will connect with them. And we did get messages last year. I know when you got a couple that people really liked, people really missed the hope sign. We have that in the fire department and are willing to provide that. Should anybody want to use that for this year, just make sure you keep it. We don't want it back. We don't have a lot of space in there. So that is it in a really giant nutshell.
Thank you.
Anything needed from us?
Well, I mean,
Well,
we always need
that we
a
can
lot.
actually help you with.
No,
Okay. Equipment, anything like that?
we always need equipment, but no, we're in a good place. Our leadership is doing a really great job of working with the budget that we have and upgrading equipment, looking for grants. I know we've been talking to Sharon about a couple opportunities.
So they have requested some equipment under a grant, so we're gonna do some grant applications and see if some of the fine people out there would give us a nice grant for that.
Awesome.
But, we are thankful, for our community for supporting us and, funding us for what we do. And we're blessed to have a great group of volunteers who show up in the middle of the night or in the day, drop what they're doing to show up to help people that need them when they need them.
Thank you for what you guys do. And gals.
Is that it?
That's it. We're really excited Santa's coming.
Okay.
We're not even Halloween yet.
Well, we're really excited
Well,
for that too.
Well, Santa is really a really good man, so,
You're lucky to get them.
when we can get him, we got him.
Good deal.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Liza, next, would be a VASA request.
Yeah, that's,
Yep, that's it.
so could you just stand and give us your name and
All right, my name's Brian Benoit, I'm with VASA, I'm the president. We want to find out if I know you guys are against ATVs and stuff because of the way the kids are around here. But we just want to know if we can get usage of like Frontage Road, the Carter Hill, the Coppino Road, where am I, Coppino Road, St. Armand Road, Parent Road, and Tart Road. Just keep us out of the village, just so we can continue into Franklin.
Is that on the main road or on the trail that's already there? Like where they just cross, is that what? Because there is a trail
Where
on Frontage Road.
Frontage, off to the west side, there's an unofficial trail with the ATVs.
or it
Sometimes
comes out Rayham Road or whatever it is.
No, on Frontage Road.
That's the Swanton section.
Yeah, that's on the
Yeah.
Swanton side. Yeah, so what is it, well, Swanton lets us
Yeah.
use Frontage Road.
Yep.
So basically just the end of, from where Highgate takes over on
Okay,
Frontage
that's
Road.
what I'm saying, yeah.
But it said, Swanton already allows us to do that. We just use them, I mean, everybody uses them now, at least this way we can do it legally and with permission, everybody be happy.
So from, Tart Road, where would you go to Franklin, would you go Buck Road? And then end up on Dandelion Road? No.
I would suggest that.
No, I just-
Tar Road.
I don't, it's a class 4 road, is that the road you're talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah, and it brings, it does bring you over to Dandelion.
yeah, but I'm just asking, where do you go from Tart Road?
From Tart Road, we take a right, and I think it's,
Yeah, Buck, right?
there's not even the name of the road on it.
Okay.
It's a class 4. What is it? They do, cooking or something in that barn?
Bushes Farm?
Oh, so you think the old culinary days?
Yeah, they don't
Yeah,
call it
okay.
there.
Right next to
Yeah, right there, there's a trail that brings us right into Franklin.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, we'll hang signs, speed limits. We don't have any complaints. We go down, people are always waving to us. We can say no 4-wheelers this way, put our arrows this way, 25 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour, whatever you guys want.
I'm planning on getting a hold of Matt Field for the enforcement part of it too.
what's that?
Planning on getting hold of wardens, because they're the ones they're
Yeah.
supposed to be patrolling.
Okay,
I see Matt Field's back,
yeah,
and he's a real good guy, and I'm sure he'd be eager to work with us on any kind of enforcement thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we try, they just don't. Yeah.
yeah. You guys have any comments? or-
I'm trying to find a map of what you're doing, because I'm not quite following. Do you have a map or a drawing?
No, I don't have a
This
map.
is all just you connect to your trails?
Yes, and it's all out in the outskirts.
Okay,
Basically, they're trying to get to town of Franklin, because town of Franklin's roads are open to ATV traffic.
okay.
Yeah,
Either
we wouldn't,
side.
wouldn't be in the village at all.
Swanton is open to ATV traffic, so they can't get from Swanton to Franklin.
Yeah, see, if we open that a little bit, we can make it all the way to Island Pond and further.
So, is this like, I know there's a snowmobile trail, and they grew it, that's the
The
one
rail
on
trail.
frontage.
That's what you're
It
thinking.
cannot be on a rail
Yeah,
trail.
that's the one on frontage road that I'm thinking of, but you can't do
We
those.
can't do the rail trail, no.
It's not a rail trail, it's a, you know what I'm talking
I
about?
know what you're talking about. I thought they were fast trails, the ones they mark every year.
Yes.
Yeah.
It goes through everybody's front yards.
Yeah,
Snowmobiles, yeah.
that's different
Okay.
than what you're, okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, these are UTVs, that's snowmobiles.
Vasa and Vast.
Well, they're sort of the same.
Kind of.
Kind of, sort of, no.
You guys have any,
Worth a shot.
You have an ordinance in place already
we
that
do.
would need to be changed.
change, yeah,
Yeah, I think, my thought is, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna need to let the public make their input on this, especially the people affected on those roads.
Well, like I said, they all
Give it
went
up.
to us and.
Give them a fair shot to rebut, agree,
I
or
understand.
talk with you.
it's like Shelley just said, I know we do have a policy, and, we'd have to look at that policy
Okay.
and see what, you know, I know it was made because we were having a lot of trouble in town with younger people.
Right. Well, this isn't a Vermont association,
Right.
you know, we spend a lot of money doing this and.
Yeah.
Those younger people, they, no matter which way you go, I know which ones you're talking about, I see them all the time.
Yeah,
They'll
We
go right
can't
down
muscle them, so.
First Street on Swan, 60 miles an hour.
Yep.
No registration, no insurance. All of anybody in the club has to be registered, insured, and they have to pay for the Vasa Trail Pass, which helps landowners who, you know, take care of the properties. You're still gonna have those,
The bad apples, yeah.
yes. no matter
Well,
which-
my only other worry, and this is not really your worry, but if we do something like this and we say that we're opening roads in Highgate to ATVs, like you guys just want certain roads,
Just
certain
a
roads,
few.
those bad apples would be like, okay, everything's open. Let's go terrorize Highgate.
Well, no,
That's what I'm
I
worried
know
about.
where the arrows are.
They don't.
No, well, they don't
But, yeah, I understand you guys is law abiding and all that. I can see where you're coming from.
and well, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so if it's all right with you guys, we'll make an announcement for the public, maybe next meeting.
Okay.
Show up, and hopefully you guys can show up too, and,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. Maybe come with a map too, if you could, of what you
Okay.
wanna do.
Yep.
This way people's pictures are worth 1,000 words, so.
Well, we had a crew of people that wanted to come and give their input, but good thing they all didn't come, because you wouldn't need the barrel.
So, before, I know when we looked at ATVs, and Vasa came at that time, but they didn't have a club in Franklin County.
Right.
So, do you now have a pretty stable group of members that,
Yeah, we have like 800 in our club.
Were you gonna bring them all?
No.
Next meeting's in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Most of them up in the Northeast Kingdom.
No, that's a different
No,
group.
that's a different club.
Is this time
This
sensitive,
is
or is this
north-
something that
northwest-
should be a town
Northwest,
meeting
there's
discussion?
northwest corner of
Does this
Vermont.
need to happen next meeting?
But yeah, I guess that's,
So when you.
No,
we're getting
If we
some
need a
of those
bigger
seasons.
venue.
I mean, drills are closing on
Think about
October
that.
31st, and they don't open back up till May, so.
Okay,
So,
We have
so
all
we
the-
can,
It's just like this one.
so we got time.
we got time.
What's in the equivalent?
Northwest Vermont Riders.
People are crazy, this one, a lot of them.
Yeah, Facebook and all that, or,
Yep,
okay,
and we have a website.
okay.
same phone number I called before to set up? Okay, so I'll give you a heads up
Okay.
on when the meeting's scheduled,
Yep.
and then you can bring your membership, and select board can take public comment and
Okay.
go from there.
You want me to bring the whole crew?
You don't have to. Maybe a lot of them, you don't have to. We got the gist of it. All right,
Thank you.
thank you for
All
coming.
right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, have a good night.
You too.
Okay, moving along. Shelley?
Yes, Richard, you've got the check warrant in front of you.
Yeah. Has everybody had a chance to look
Yes.
at it? Yeah.
Make a motion to accept.
Okay, I have a motion from Mary,
I'll second that.
Vernon second. All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Ayes have it, 3-0.
Okay, and while you're signing that, just a quick update update, because that's pretty much all I've been doing the last couple of weeks. Delinquent, I'll start with. Not a lot of change. This time of year, there was not a lot of change, so I think I collected a whopping $100. The new balance is $43,055.06. And as soon as I'm done with this cycle, I'll get with Kristen Shamus at the attorney's office to start the tax sale process. This year, I don't know where everybody's hiding. I'm getting a little nervous. We still have $3,315,940.84 to collect.
And it's
So,
the third.
if anyone is going to come in and pay their taxes the last day, it better come with a six-pack. Trick or treat to me. It's been steady but slow, very slow, so it's going to be a busy next couple of weeks.
Did the state send their revised HS?
I got a couple of more this morning on my desk. I can check and see if you were one of them.
Okay.
But I see, he is one of them, perfect.
All right.
Yeah, the report I get is like parcel numbers and amounts, so.
It went in the mail through today.
Okay, so you'll be getting my information.
Okay, perfect. Other than that, I don't have anything for you. I did get the audit, the formal audit book, but I haven't even taken it out of the envelope yet. I'll throw it in your box for the next meeting. Enjoy some bedtime reading. So if that's all you have, do you need anything from me?
No?
That is all I have for you.
Okay, thank you, Shelley. Okay, Wendy.
Okay, you have the meeting minutes from October 5th, which was our last regular meeting. So I think Vern was not there. So
Correct.
the Mary and Richard were there.
I'll make a motion to accept them.
I'll second it.
Thank you. And the only other thing I have is, I got one more round of fines to send out for people that just don't want to deal with their dogs, and then I will be closing out the year. I just want to put it out there that we don't know if we're going to have a clinic next year. I have our vet in town retired. She is still willing, she gave up her practice, not her license, so she is still willing to help us with a clinic. I just don't know about staffing, type, I don't know about location. I've talked to rec, there's very few dates available to even have it. So I don't know if there will be one, and I want people to be aware of that I don't want people to be caught like a deer in the headlights. Oh, you don't have a clinic, my dog's not vaccinated, No. Just be prepared. I want to have one, I just don't know if there will be one.
Thank you, Wendy, because I've had a couple questions already about that already, so I can let people know.
Because we're one of only 2 towns in the county that had one to begin with, so I hate to see it go away. Trust me, it's a lot of work. I'm not opposed to not working on that Saturday, but I know the value that it holds. So if I can work it out with Cheryl and staffing, and if we actually have a place to have it, then yes.
And it is extremely important because for Wendy, that means she has a lot of extra work for all those people that don't have any other options for rabies shots, which means they don't get their dogs licensed, which means more tickets, more fines, more work.
And Tractor Supply does hold one, or on the schedule monthly.
Tractor
But no.
Supply does offer clinics. They don't guarantee that the schedule will hold. Like I had people this year go to a Tractor Supply clinic and they stood in line for 3 hours and never got their dogs vaccinated because they either ran out of supplies or the clinic was just over or the clinic didn't happen at all and got moved to another location. So those aren't guaranteed either. So I know taking your dog to a vet's office is extremely expensive and it's just not an option for everyone. So
Yeah, because most of the vets are full now.
That too.
And Champlain and Tannenberger took on, and Enosburg took on the majority of the clients, and a lot of people aren't taking on any more new animals either, so. I hope to work it out, I just don't know how it's gonna work out, so.
Is that building empty now?
It is, well, there's a dog groomer apparently moving in there, I see a banner hanging on the front porch, but I would imagine that would take up a fraction of the space in there, it is large, it's a big place. So, anyways, that is it for me.
Okay, thank you. Sharon, you're up.
So I have lots of odds and ends, and they keep coming in every day, even after I print out the agenda. So here we go. We've had quite a few complaints this week from residents, so I'm bringing these to your attention. We've had pigs on the loose on the Hannah Road, where they are in the road causing traffic hazards, running up the neighbors. They have entered the Highgate Cemetery and begun to dig up that, which the town just put a lot of money into. And they are all over the rail trail, and the state of Vermont is one unhappy camper. Because I have had probably 52 messages from the state of Vermont about what's going on the rail trail there.
Who's pigs?
McAllister's Pigs. We wrote them a certified letter because there's only so much you can do apparently with pigs. So we sent them a certified letter stating the state statutes of what it means to house your pigs correctly. As I was going to send the certified letter, both Norm and Heath McAllister walked in. We had a conversation about getting your pigs under control. We gave them 5 days to do it. They assured us they would do that. On Wednesday, I received another phone call of a giant sow in the road, and they had pictures. She would have been a heck of a speed bump. So today they received, or they were ticketed. So they have received a $500 ticket for not housing your animals properly for their welfare, which they will receive tomorrow in certified mail.
Is it finders keepers?
As a matter of fact, in the state of Vermont, you have the right, if someone's pig is on your land, to grab that pig, house it, you can store it, notify the owner, and if the owner does not come for it, it's yours. Or you can charge the owner a storage fee for their pig, or they'll have them get it back.
But you have to catch it.
You have to catch it.
Get a rope, good heavy rope.
Are they receiving fines from the state for damage being done on the rail trail?
Not yet. The state wanted the town to do something. Well,
They've
we've
been
done,
calling us to do it.
yes, we've done our part and the maximum that we can do. So now the state can figure out what they can do.
We can go catch some pigs over.
Right, you can certainly have a grease pig contest.
So we know if anyone's looking for pigs, where to go.
Yes.
Why is this an issue all of a sudden? Is there a broken fence or something, or?
I'm assuming, yes, they have a broken fence. We've had difficulties with these pigs before because pigs, of course, are terrible rooters. And they were undermining the road at one point. So we are aware of the pigs, and they have over 600 pigs, so
Ooh,
it's a chase, I'm sure, to catch them.
that's a lot of pig.
And they probably don't know when they're missing, because there's so many of them.
Well, they knew they were missing. Yeah, they knew. So that's happened. We have had a complaint about harassment, a junkyard, and noise at 34 Misty Meadows. Those residents called this morning and asked Wendy about noise ordinance, so hopefully that'll solve itself. And 2826 St. Armand Road has a request for a hidden driveway sign.
What driveway?
Hidden driveway sign. They are afraid of being hit by oncoming traffic that is traveling at a little faster speed than would normally be wanted. It is from Steve Lathrop. He says, "My name is Steven and I live at 2826 St. Armand Road. Where we live, there's a hill on St. Armand Road that if you're driving up it, you cannot see our driveway along with 2 other driveways. Myself and my wife have come close to being in accidents due to people speeding and not seeing our driveway until it's too late. Is there any way we can get a hidden driveway sign put up, and if available, maybe a police officer to do radar checks," which we know that does not happen very well. So I don't know about what your thoughts are about a hidden driveway sign, or if you know if there's any signs there now.
We put up horse signs a few years ago
Horse signs?
on each end of that. And I don't know that there's excessive speeding, it's, the speed limit's 50. And when you're going 50 through there, you're moving.
Yeah, the houses are right close to the road too.
Bell Road.
Kenny Spiritual Health.
Oh, that's not.
Patton House.
So do you want to consider that? Do you want to investigate that further?
Like I said,
What was the address again, 2826?
Yes.
it was passed now.
Doesn't
They moved over to Sarah.
There was some apple trees
There's
that
a
hung
crest there.
beside the road there, I don't know if that's the problem.
I know, we had down put a horse, it said horse sign up, about 3-4 years ago.
So we put a blind driveway sign or something like that?
Do you have something like that, Nick?
Somewhat.
Do you have a sign?
You'd have to have it ordered.
You have it ordered? No. Are you guys in favor of?
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
we're
absolutely,
okay,
yeah,
yeah.
safety issue, yeah.
Can you put it under the horse barn?
Can you make a motion?
Yes,
So that's,
got a motion?
I'll make a motion to put up a hidden or blind driveway sign
Far away.
near 2826 St. Armand Road.
A second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, have a second? Okay, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye?
okay, Cross Consulting, who is working on our wastewater design, they have requested the help of the Public Works Department. Because we've chosen to go with a full design on that 18-acre property, they need to do some more test holes in order to monitor groundwater over the winter. So they asked if it would be okay if the Public Works helped them out. They did last time, so. I had asked Nick if he thought that could be managed, so.
Again? You need a motion or just,
Sure.
wait, a motion to,
I'll make a motion to allow the town public works employees to assist with the cross consulting.
I'll second that.
okay, all in favor, say aye?
Aye.
Okay.
Ayes have it, 3-0.
Just as an update, I'm going to start going around to the arena, the library, and Public Works and the fire department to just double check our last passive insurance paperwork showed some violations, so I want to make sure that we have those corrected before they come again. So that's just an update. The transfer station contract with Wright's Excavating has been signed. Ed did have a slew of changes he wanted to see. Cross Consulting did change the contract, and Wright's have also signed the contract. So we are good to possibly start on Monday over there. They'll do some minor prep work, but not anything on the slopes because of winter coming. But they'll be ready to go in the spring. Tyler Billingsley did look at the transfer station as far as engineering. He has noticed that not only is it the slide where we were looking at, there are several other spots that are scary spots to come in that area. And I am meeting with FEMA tomorrow morning to appeal the original decision. So more to come there, but I did want to point out that Tyler was very impressed with the repair that Nick had done. He said it looked fantastic and it was a great job, so. And it's holding through this rain so far, so that's good.
Kudos.
Thank you.
I have just a notice, the Village of Swanton is putting on the Swanton Energy Fair. So there's all kinds of different things. It'll show what incentives are available. They'll have electric vehicles. There'll be different heat pump options. So different things to save money. So it might be of interest to some people if they were interested. It is from 11 to 2 tomorrow, or on Saturday, sorry. Speaking of Swanton Village is requesting that we are asking for the Highgate Selectboard's approval for Swanton Village's efforts to apply for planning funds to create a capital investment plan for necessary upgrades and repairs to their water and sewer infrastructures. So they're applying for a grant and they'd like you to sign this letter of approval in order to help them in the grant position. So if you would like to do that, I have the letter typed out and ready for your signatures.
What's it for again?
It's to support Swanton Village efforts to get planning funds
I would say that.
for a municipal planning grant. And it's to plan for their necessary upgrades and repairs to water and sewer.
You can have a motion and
Make a motion to support Swanton Village. What is it again? Exploratory grant?
yeah.
Letter, yeah, letters.
Yeah, exploratory grant, get funds for water and sewer.
We'll make that happen.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, ayes have it.
Okay, then I have a request. You had given me permission to look for people to do an archaeological study over on the school lot property for the village core. I approached three companies, and I found out that the original study was already done. But that more was required of that, which I did not have a record of until they graciously sent it to me. And so I am requesting to use the UVM Archaeological Phase 1 application. It's for $15,873. It would do the whole village core property, and they would do test holes to do a little bit more in-depth archaeological study on the lot. Would help us get further to our wastewater goals by doing this ahead of schedule. We do have the money for it. We have $18,000 in grant money that will cover this. So I'm just asking for approval to choose them as a company.
Is there anything in particular they're looking for, or just?
No, it's just based on what they found on the original assessment. They recommended for the property an archaeological Phase 1. So that would need to be done before we did much digging for construction. So we have the funds now, so we're asking to use them.
Good. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I haven't brought this to the rec meeting yet, but I will on Tuesday. We applied for an EV charger grant, And I had several quotes for that as well. And I have gotten the quotes down to $3,079.47. And that is a 2-port charger for electrical vehicles that would take credit cards, so that any of the credit card charges get reimbursed to the town. So eventually, it would hopefully pay for itself.
Where would this be?
Yeah, where?
At the rink.
Rec, okay.
Yeah, at the arena.
In one of the handicap spots?
Thanks, Vern.
Be good, Vern.
Sorry.
So several, was it
Vern, I heard that.
team members, or who did Karen say had electric vehicles now?
I don't.
But there were several people that come to the rink that have electric vehicles. And this is the original grant, or the original price for everything. This includes setup, the whole shebang, was over $29,000. So with the grants and stuff, it's down to $3,000.
So how many can you plug in at a time?
Two. One on each side.
And is it, like, where, is it gonna be placed away from the building?
It would be near the building.
Okay.
Preferably, probably toward the Zamboni room where the electrical box is, so you didn't have to go far with the
So is that
electrical
gonna be
connection.
more spots that are not available to
Everybody else.
everybody else, right? Only electric vehicles could park there?
I would say yes. That would be part of the provision.
One thing I would just ask, and I'm sure you've looked into it, is just for fire. I know that there have been a lot of concerns over electric vehicles and charging stations. I know in Montreal, there's been some pretty serious fires in parking garages, and now electric vehicles aren't allowed in parking garages, so I just don't know, like, what, I'm sure there's a fire code or something. We just don't want the arena to,
Right.
like, if you can minimize if something did happen.
Right.
Like over where the Zamboni dumps, Nick said there's a power
There's a
pole over
utility pole
there.
right there.
Oh,
Over in the corner.
I would think the insurance company might have a say on where it goes to.
right, exactly.
Is this through Charge Point, Sharon, which is what the other charging stations in the parking lot?
I talked to Charge Point, and theirs was a more hefty bill.
Okay.
This is through Apex Energy. Charge Point, we'd have to find our own electrician. Apex is out of Albany, basically, and they would come over and install it, do all the fine tuning, set it all up, and be a one and done thing.
Is that anything that the rail trail can use too, or
Well,
specifically for?
that's a good question. I hadn't
If you're gonna
considered
pay
that,
over-
but
Once there's a charging station, it actually goes on a website, so if you have an electric vehicle, you can find one.
Is a bicycle plug into the same
I
thing?
don't know about a bicycle,
Or?
but.
Right, no, because the rail trail is full, so
Yeah.
it's just a matter of time before they need it.
yeah.
Electric bikes. Yeah. Pedal.
So we would collect money from them as well then.
Correct, yes.
a little charger, just like your
Okay, I'm looking for a motion to table this, because Sharon's gonna take it to the rec, and if something we can, after he takes it to the rec, we can, the rest of the board will be here, and
Yeah.
we'll put that on the agenda for our next meeting.
Okay. Opioid monies. We had approved before for all of the opioid funds to go to the Highgate volunteerism group. Unfortunately, in September 21, the rules, of course, have changed again on how you can spend that opioid money. So, only a percentage can go to the Highgate Volunteerism Committee. The rest will have to be used on a different source. So what I'll do is I will make you up a list of options,
Okay.
which you can choose, and we can investigate to see where else to put that money. And the last thing I have is, we have had a member of the public that is interested in becoming a constable. They are looking for it to be a possible part-time job. So something that might be paid on an hourly basis. So this, considering our policing situation and what may or may not come to fruition on July 1st, it may be a very good option to start considering.
Are you talking carry? Would they be carrying?
Well, why don't we?
Yes,
Yeah.
the gentleman is here now. So he can introduce himself.
Hi, yeah, my name's Matt, 21 years ex-military. If, I assume the job would be a carrying position since it requires going to the weapons training, which is not an issue. I've been carrying.
Yeah, for 20-something years.
Yeah, so, and I'm more than happy to take up the position if needed,
Okay, awesome.
So I was asking because we're not insured for that right now, which is why I was just asking.
Yeah.
And we would want to get with VLCT before you made any decisions on whether that's recommended by your insurance company or not. Because our old constable, it was not a carry position. And I don't remember the exact terminology, but wasn't there some field training that needed to happen with local law enforcement in order for the constable to carry?
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, he was unable to find also ex-military, someone to be willing to take that on.
Really?
So, we can certainly look into it.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of our research that needs to happen before. I'm not trying to speak on your behalf, Board.
What branch?
Navy.
Yeah, awesome, what'd you do?
I was a nuclear reactor operator on submarines for about 16 years, and after that I transitioned into the aviation community, and I managed the Navy's fleet of F-18 Hornets.
Now we're here.
Now you're good. Nice. Do you glow in the dark?
No. We get less radiation on the submarine than you do
Awesome.
here.
Okay.
So, are you looking to start as soon as, if the board was gonna go that way? I'm gonna do some research for you with VLCT and.
That would be great.
Yeah, see what,
At least by town meeting,
yeah.
all the crowd.
Yeah.
So we have an obligation to the current employer until February, and then after that point, we are flexible.
Perfect, maybe it can be a town meeting discussion. Yeah. And we will certainly have answers by then.
Is there anything else?
No, I guess for Shelley and Sharon, just training, liability, insurance, whatever, I don't know what's, what that entails, so if we could get educated on that, would be awesome.
Sure. And Matt, in the event that the insurance declined to have you carry, would you still be interested in a position?
Yes.
Okay. So there you have your answer.
Just a big stick.
That's allowed.
Mean words.
Yes.
Pretty words.
De-escalate, de-escalate.
Right, I got a question for Sharon. We had, and I can't remember her name, but, OSHA training, maybe she went to your department also.
Katie.
Okay, what's the next steps with that? Is she's coming back to implement policies?
I cannot find any record of her visit, except for an email saying that she was coming. There is no documentation that I have found in Heidi's office of anything that needed to be corrected, no endorsement, no anything. There's no paperwork from that person. And I know I had asked Shelley as well, and she has no paperwork from that person either, so I'm not sure what happened there.
Okay.
I think somewhere it got lost in the transition. But yes, I do want to follow up on that as well.
I've got contact information from her. I was actually just emailed her yesterday or the day before.
Oh, really? Oh, well, there, that's what I want. Yep.
We can do that.
Okay.
She definitely had some great ideas that I'd like to see followed up on.
Okay, then yeah, absolutely. So under the select board, we don't have anything written, but something came up at the last select board, and that was the idea of taking over private roads. So at the planning commission meeting, we talked about that, and we came up with some ideas and some questions that the select board we thought should consider when they look to think about taking over private roads. So you have the statistics in front of you of how many roads we have, how many are gravel, how many are dirt, how many are paved roads.
Oh, maybe, but it was there too.
So, to start a conversation with the public about what their thoughts are. So Deso Drive had come to the last select board meeting, and were concerned about why they paid taxes but did not have their road taken over. So as you look, you'll see that it's a little more complicated than just the plowing. And I'm sure Nick can attest to that. So you have a couple of members of the planning board here. So if you'd like to speak about different things we talked about, we would be happy to hear you. Robin?
So I am not in favor of expanding the plowing to additional private roads. I think there then creates a disparity between residents. My understanding is that most of the roads cannot accommodate safely to thank you, emergency vehicles going back and forth, and that the roads are often dead ends, which means there's no safe way for our guys in these trucks, I assume it's all men, to manage these plows on these private roads. And I don't want to put the safety of our staff in jeopardy for roads that people can manage independently. I think one of the arguments that we talked about was that these newer roads are designed to meet state standards, and those state standards are for public safety, not so that the plows can get back and forth. It would put additional wear and tear on our equipment, hiring additional staff. How do we decide what roads get included and what roads don't? Ultimately, taxes go up to accommodate it, and the cost of the tax increase exceeds the amount that the individuals would pay to hire someone privately to plow the street, which doesn't make sense to me. But I think that we pay town taxes so that our town staff can take care of town roads and town sidewalks, and that is where our responsibility should lie. Did I leave anything out?
Did a good job.
Okay.
Lots of points.
So is that the favor, the majority of the whole planning commission?
So for those of us that were at the planning commission yesterday, on Tuesday, there were 4 of us.
Yeah.
We were in consensus that we did not believe that it was appropriate to take on additional private roads.
So we did give a list of the fully paved private roads. And as you look down the list, it tells you basically if there are homes or businesses on the road and whether or not they have an appropriate turnaround for a school bus or a plow truck. So,
Are all these roads actively looking to get taken over?
no.
No.
But if you were to take over one, how do you say
Right.
you can't take over all of them? So that gave you some, kind of a scope as to what this might entail.
It's a good point about the school buses too.
Yeah,
It doesn't just impact us.
correct. I had asked Michael Begnosh when I sat on the board what he thought about taking over development roads, because he is a developer in the town of Highgate and has done quite a lot of development here, and he said, as a developer, I'd love for the town to take over my road, but as a school bus owner, I don't want to take over any more, you to take over any more roads, because that means I have to drive down them, and we have to turn around. So he could see both sides of that, yes.
The other thing that came up in our meeting was the fact that these developers are making promises to the buyers of the homes. And that's not the town's fault, right? And we are trying to solve a problem caused by the developers, and that's not our responsibility. And as a homeowner that's experiencing issues with the buyer, or the seller, I can appreciate that frustration of being told one thing and, having that not followed through on. But that is an issue for us to take up with the developers as they come into the town and want to build.
Exactly. So, and that is part of the bylaw changes that we have
Right.
talked about, is making that very clear in the bylaws that in 3 places in the bylaws it says that taking over a private road is at the sole discretion of the sitting select board. Because yes, there was a time that the town took over every road. Times have changed. Some things do better, some things worse, but they have changed. When a developer hits the 3rd developed property in a development, they are required to meet A76 standards. And that's the little drawing that you have. That's what A76 standards mean. It's a basic state road standard. A lot of homeowners, after the roads are not taken over, complain that, well, you made the developer do this. But like Robin said, that's for emergency services. It's for your benefit as a homeowner to have a decent road in your development. If the town didn't do this, you may end up with a dirt road with potholes big enough to swallow your car and then have to fight with a developer. By putting that in your bylaws right off, it says you have to have a decent road to the numerous houses you're going to build in Highgate to protect those homeowners. For the town to go back now, we don't know if those standards were met.
Right.
Scott Martin at the last meeting had questioned, well, would you have to hire an engineer to check the specs of these roads to verify that they were up to standards? we aren't engineers, we're not sure if the developer did more or less than he was required to do, or she was required to do.
You had that talk earlier this year that,
Right,
you know, it was a developer's responsibility to have it documented that they did the work.
Yep.
All these developers have just either called the highway department
sure.
to go look at it, but I've said before, we're not engineers.
Right.
You know, it's their job to have their engineer that designed it inspect it all the way through. Then at the end, if the select board feels that we need an engineer to double check theirs, then that didn't work out very well
No, people weren't happy, but
to hear what our engineer said, you know?
yeah,
It's-
yeah. The other thing that we have to be concerned about is the stormwater permit.
It's a big one.
That is a big one now because the state is really hammering on that. And the town has a road erosion inventory that has a huge number of segments of current public roads that need to be cared for. And that work has to be done and finished by 2036. That's an obligation that we have to the state that we need to meet. If we were to take over numerous other roads, you'd have to be able to incorporate that into that requirement. Not that it can't be done, it just would need to be planned for, you know, financially and, you know, public work wise. So that, that's a big issue. You know, Richard, you had said something to Diesel Drive that you and Butch had gone there previously, and that the stormwater wasn't appropriate. You know, that the drainage was not correct. So again, does that mean the town has to hire an engineer to go find out why it doesn't work, to take over a road that you didn't want to take over anyway? You know, and if there's culverts that are the wrong size, Quarry Lane, we got into a discussion about culvert was undersized because someone had paved their driveway. That's all well and good, but that changes the stormwater flow, and, you know, does that ruin a road because of it? You know, we don't know that. Width was another thing the planning had talked about, like Robin had said. Can two fire trucks pass each other on that road to provide back and forth the water supply? Do you have appropriate turnarounds? Can you fit a bus around, a fire truck around, or a plow truck around, a turnaround, or a hammerhead?
I think we're opening ourselves up to a lot of
Right.
safety concerns
Yes.
and
Yeah.
liability.
Yeah.
And I do, like, I feel for these people, like, I know what it's like to be sold goods and get something else. But I think that the town is opening itself up to liability and, you know, legal challenges, like, because we chose one road instead of another.
And then at what point would we need another truck?
Right.
You know, how much additional mileage before we would need another truck? And that we'd have to research, you know, and really figure out. And if we had a fourth truck, where would we put it? It just, it does cascade a little bit there. And some of these roads don't have an appropriate place to put snow if you were to plow around.
That's the other issue.
Right, I mean, I'm sure Nick already has places where he goes that there's really not appropriate place to put the snow. And Richard brought up a point last time about, what about those people on public roads that are gravel
That are not paid.
that would like to see theirs paved? So there's lots to think about before we consider taking over Quarry Lane or Piso Drive. And yes, we can all feel for them, we all understand why they would like that. But there's a cost to that. If you look at your taxes, our tax rate is 1.9177 this year. 16 cents goes to the general fund of every $100 of value that you have of your property. 21 cents goes to the highway fund, and 9 cents goes to the capital improvement plan, the CIP.
How does our tax rate compare to comparable counties?
Shelley and Wendy can probably answer that better.
I don't believe we're the absolute lowest anymore, but we're low. Of our 14 towns in Franklin County, I would say we're in the bottom 5, tax rate wise, for sure. Franklin County is low across the state for taxes. We used to be the lowest, but
Things out of our control.
Yeah. So,
slides.
so basically, only 46 cents for every $100 of value gets paid to the municipality. And only 21 cents out of $100 of value is paid to the highway department. So that's, when you think about it, that's not a lot of money to keep all our roads safe, to keep the roads that they do in such good shape as they do, to keep the culverts cleared, to keep the stormwater from taking out our roads during storms. They do a damn good job for the little we ask that have here. I'll stop talking now.
That's all good.
So,
Yes.
okay, thank you, planning commission, for helping us out, you know, and I think it helps our decision to know how, other, boards, in the town feel. I want to thank you for that.
Well, I told them sometimes the stuff they get is old and crotchety stuff and it's not too exciting, but it was a lively discussion this week about taking over town roads and everybody was excited to talk about it, so that was good for them too.
Thank you.
Yeah, some of my questions will go to executive.
Yeah. Is there any other public comment?
On that topic or others? For select board.
Whatever you want.
So, about the ATV roof ask, I would ask the select board to communicate with neighboring towns that have agreed, opened up their roads and see what their feeling is since they opened them up. That would be just my ask of the select board. And see how much, just because their roads are open doesn't guarantee that Lassa's a group that's operating in there. See how much interaction they have with that club.
Good point.
I think there was actually, Newport, I think, passed this 2 or 3 years ago, and they started rescinding it.
Montgomery did too, I
Like I
believe.
did, yeah.
Is Bakersfield still open?
I don't know.
I thought they were also.
They,
And we weren't close, is that what happened? We weren't open and then we passed it.
we passed an ordinance, and I think in 2019, because of the issues we were having, kind of restricted, well, not really, just reiterated the existing law.
Yeah.
And then with enforcement, brought it back down to where it should be. Just a couple nuisance people said a whole bunch.
Nothing was ever open, but I was never not open, because they couldn't.
Gotcha.
Just during that comment, they told them that you weren't supposed to be.
But passed the ordinance that gave us teeth for penalties
Yeah.
at the local level versus the state level, so,
And it has improved.
yeah,
Here, it has.
it has improved. And then if we get a constable, we can do more enforcement.
He's, yeah.
If you open your road, you can get an ATV constable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So he would not say no to that.
I don't believe there's one for sale for 17,000.
Okay, select board have anything?
Nope, I got nothing.
Okay, looking for a motion to adjourn and to go into executive session with, Butch, Nick, Sharon, and Shelley.
You too, Sharon.
I'll make that motion.